This podcast details true crime cases. It contains adult themes and may contain descriptions of violence. It is not intended for children. Listener discretion is advised.
Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Once Upon a Crime. It's April, and on the first day of April, we have this silly holiday called April Fool's Day. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of April Fool's Day because I really don't care for like mean-spirited pranks, which is what usually happens to unsuspecting people on this holiday. But anyway, whether you love it or hate it, it's a tradition every year that we cannot seem to escape. So I've decided to give the month of April and April Fools a different spin here on Once Upon a Crime. Basically just for my amusement, and I hope also for yours. We're going to have some fun with true crime stories this month. You may be wondering if that's even possible if you listen to this show. And oh yeah, it is possible. And the person who is best at having fun with true crime stories, in my opinion, is my good friend and this month's co-host, first time ever on Once Upon a Crime, Leroy Luna, host of the podcast, Excuse Me, That's Illegal. Hey, Leroy, how are you doing?
Oh, hold for applause. Thank you. That's a real honor that I get to have co-hosting duties with you. I'm getting a little bit nervous here.
Well, dope, because we're both just, in the closet here, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah,
we're talking to ourselves.
Yeah, we're both solo podcasters, and I don't know about you, but it's kind of a lonely process. Like the late nights you spend writing and stuff like that. But it's cool to be with like another human being. Not just any human being. We're actually friends. We're on a texting basis. So I don't want to brag or anything, but me and Esther text back and forth occasionally.
It's your brush with fame. You poor thing. So that's all you got. So we've actually done some things before together. And you guys know that I've done this on Once Upon a Crime. Like I'll have somebody on and maybe do a little interview or have them kind of, go through a podcast with me, like an episode. But I've never had somebody like co-host with me for a whole month. And I just thought this was a great time to do it. This is it's going to be a little bit of a break, but you guys don't worry. Like we're still going to have lots of true crime stories, actually a lot of true crime stories. But hopefully they'll be a little bit more fun. They will be some that are what you're used to, but with a little bit of a twist. And then some that maybe are more like what Leroy's listeners are used to, so we're going to try to do a little bit of both. See how that works out for you guys. So anyway, I wanted to talk about a little bit about you can tell our listeners a little bit about what kind of cases you cover on Excuse Me, That's Illegal. Now, okay, first thing I have to ask you, do you have a shorter name for your podcast? Or do I always have to say, Excuse Me, That's Illegal?
You have to say, Excuse Me, That's Illegal with a bit of a sassy attitude, though. Excuse me, that's illegal. Some people have said EMTI. I guess that's the initials. I haven't come up with anything.
Yeah. All right. Or excuse me. But then you don't get the rest.
Yeah, you can just call it Excuse Me, I guess. I don't have anything official. It's kind of weird to, when you force nicknames on your listeners. Like I call them illegalites. One of my listeners came up with that idea. But some people really push that, right? Like, hey, what's up, true crime junkettes? Or I don't know. They make up some weird, some sassy nickname.
Yeah. Some of them are cool, like affirmative murder. I like those guys. And they call them affirminators. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all right. Some others, I don't want to call anyone out, but I can't even think of one. I would call someone out, but I can't at the moment.
Yeah. So Once Upon a Crime, that's a long name too. So sometimes we'll just say OUAC, which kind of flows okay. So we do that. That's fine. But it's not like something that's commonly used, out in the world. It's just something we shorten it once in a while for us. But okay. So anyway, tell us some kind of what you cover, what your podcast is about and what you do on it.
Okay. Well, I cover the pettiest of criminals, kind of the stories that don't need to be told, or at least you never knew needed to be told, but I do it in a fun way. And for instance, the most recent episode was about a golf course in Norway. And for the past 10 years, someone's been pooping in the holes at the golf course and they haven't been caught. I also did a serial.
This is not like a gopher as a person, you're saying,
No, it's
right?
actually, yeah, a person. And for some reason they tried to they had to get a permit to get a like a security camera there, and it got denied, which I thought, like, it's outside. Can't you just put cameras wherever you want if you have a business? Like, they might have different laws in Norway though.
Oh yeah.
But for me personally, I would stake that place out. And I mean, there is 18 holes though, so you never know which hole this person's gonna take a dump in, right? But they've been doing it for 10 years.
Oh my God.
And
I
I
can
did
see
a
you, I can see you out there with a like a hoodie with like night vision goggles waiting to catch the
oh
person.
my God, that would be awesome. But yeah, 10 years. And I also did there was a serial Slurpee thief in New York City. So I really like to mix it up and just do silly stuff along those lines. It's a lot of fun. And especially for someone, if you're into true crime and the stuff gets a little too heavy for you and you need a break, you can come listen to me and stay in the true crime realm, but just kind of dip your toes in it, give yourself some
Yeah.
time to recover and then go back to the murdery stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like what they say, a little palate cleanser, right?
Exactly.
To
Yeah.
yeah. I need those sometimes. I actually do this sometimes on the show, but not in the humorous way like you. I try to find something that's a little lighter, or maybe we're talking about a survivor or something like that, so we can kind of like at least, not leave every day that we listen, kind of wanting to go back to bed or something. So,
Yeah. Like your rock and roll episodes. I was a big fan of those ones when you covered
I love
the
those.
rock
Yeah.
star stuff.
Yeah, and actually, you guys, this month we're going to do something that has a musical bent to it too. So you guys are going to like that. I know our listeners really like when we do the
Ether.
musical stuff. There's some crazy ass stories out there when it comes to musicians, though. So those are kind of easy to find. So those
Oh,
are fun to do.
they never fully grow up, I feel. Yeah, it's a cool lifestyle.
Yeah. So, just real quick. So, how many? This is one of the things about Leroy's podcast is that he has been producing consistently for quite a while now. Which is, you guys, a lot of people who listen to podcasts don't realize how much of an effort that is to really produce episodes, consistently on a schedule, especially when you have another life, or try to have another life. Um, so, how long have you been producing episodes, and about how many do you have now?
Okay. In August it'll be 3 years. So it's about August is pretty far away. So yeah, it's been 2.5 years, and I'm approaching my 100th episode. Bow, 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 bow. I'm writing episode 98 right now. So yeah,
Oh,
if
cool.
you want to listen to the podcast, you got 98 episodes to binge. So
Yeah, there's plenty. And I like them because they're not super long. They're it's something you can listen to, one on a commute to work and one on a commute back, basically. If depending on how
yeah,
long the commute is, of course. But yeah, so I kind of like that because that's what I tend to do. It's like, oh, I'm going to put on. Excuse me, that's illegal because I know that it'll be almost finished by the time I get to where I'm going. So I can't stand when you're in the middle of something. It's like, oh shit, and then you got to stop and you got
yeah,
go into your dentist or whatever, and then wait till you come out to finish it. So that's kind of what happens with the longer shows.
yeah.
So
I don't
cool.
last very long. I'm known for not lasting very long. Well, partly partly is
That's the
because
kind of humor you'll get with Leroy. I'll just give you a little heads up right there.
I like to throw in those sleazy jokes and then just carry on. And I'm like, I wonder if anyone caught on to that. But got to amuse yourself in the closet somehow.
Yeah. So you also have a Patreon. So that's the thing too. I really, I like your Patreon. I've been I guess patron, something to call it, for a while now too. So tell them a little bit about your Patreon and what kind of extra content you put out on there.
Yeah, you've been there since the beginning. I really appreciate that. Well, I do stuff with my brother mostly, and okay, so on a lot of my episodes, if it's at a certain business, say a Walmart, for example, I'll find that exact Walmart and I'll read a couple of reviews that people left. And I always enjoy doing that. So me and my brother have one that's called How Bizarre, where we check out these weird businesses, and I'll read reviews about them, and we'll just kind of talk about that and joke around. My brother's just like me. He's says some pretty sleazy stuff. so we have fun. We also do a Luna Bin show where we I I don't know. We just play fun games and bust each other's balls, and we try to keep it true crime related somewhat. But yeah, it's a lot of fun over there. I also do just a regular bonus episode, so there's lots of stuff over there to check out.
I love the Luna bins. I've been a big fan of those from way back before they were even on your Patreon. He was on your brother's Patreon first. And they're just hilarious together. I mean, you just never know what they're going to say. That's kind of why you never know what they're going to say. Like, oh my God. Like there's sometimes like, really? That's what you're really talking about right now? So
yeah, we try to one up each other, but it's kind of quality time that we spend together too. Sometimes I forget we're even recording something. I forget that my mom and my dad are listening.
That's pretty obvious sometimes, because sometimes you're like, wait a minute, is mom gonna listen to this? Oh well. And then your brother's like, oh whatever.
He's like, yeah, I'll edit that out, and he never does.
He never does. I don't think he edits anything, to be honest.
No.
Oh my God. So so Patreon, excuse me, that's illegal. There'll be links in the show notes, so you guys can listen to both of those. Okay. So, you should follow, subscribe, stalk him, whatever you're going to do. But the links will be in the show notes.
In fact, pause this right now. Go download. Excuse me, that's illegal. You don't even have to listen to it. Subscribe. As long as you download, if you subscribe, you'll get it downloaded every episode. And I don't even care what you do with it at that point, because as long as I get that download.
Yeah, download on all your work, at home, in your car.
Grab your grandma's cell phone. Subscribe.
There you go. Yeah. I never thought about that. That's a great campaign.
She won't even know.
She has no idea how to get to podcasts on her cell phone. Okay. So, but now let me tell you about what's going to happen on this podcast episode. So, since Leroy and I are both, true crime experts of the highest caliber, I would say, we will try and test our skills on this episode. So, in this episode that we've titled Fake or Felony, we're going to try to attempt to stump one another. Now, the way we're going to do this is one of us will detail a crime story, and the other one will have to guess if the story is true or if it's fake. So true or false, you get the idea. So you can all play along if you want and keep score if you like. You may be better than us, and that would be really humiliating, but that's okay too. So that being said, are you ready, Leroy?
Oh, I was born ready.
Okay, let's get going. Okay, all right. So this first, and here's what I hope, because I know, what your podcast is like and the kind of stories you cover. So you may have a jump on some of these because, you may have seen these. You may have been doing a search and saw some of these. So you may know, oh yeah, I remember that. That was real. Whatever. So hopefully not, but it is what it is.
Get around.
He does. Which a lot of the, things that when I was doing this kind of research, it was all new to me. And I was just like laughing my ass off. I'm like, shut up. This is not real. This cannot be real. So I'm sure it'll be difficult for me to figure out, but maybe not so much for you. So the first one, the headline is Thieves Snort Cremains, Mistaking It for Cocaine. 3 men burglarized a Florida home, taking jewelry, a laptop, and a flat screen television. They found containers in the home with what they believed were crushed up prescription pills. When they returned to their hideout, they snorted the powdered substance. After their arrest, it was discovered that what they thought were drugs were the cremains of the homeowner's father and her 2 dogs. Now, is that true or false, fake or felony?
Okay, that sounds too insane to be true, but I have been around, and I know that is a true statement.
That is true. And I think it's great that we got Florida right off the bat, man. We got Florida in there, so
yeah, you have to. And
you have to.
That's insane. Don't you think that would probably get you high still, though? Even though it's it's not what you wanted it to be, but it's gonna do some kind of damage.
I know. I mean, I've never snorted anything, so I have no idea. But I think that I know from the psychological perspective of it that if you think you're getting drunk, or you think you're going to get drunk, or you think you're going to get high, you actually in your mind do, right? So you feel like it. So somebody could give you a beer and you don't know it's a non-alcoholic beer, and you think, yeah, I'm going to get wasted, and you will feel drunk. It's your mind is so powerful. So it's they might have got high off it. for sure.
placebo
So let
or
me give you
perception
some of the,
reality.
exactly. Let me give you this real quick here, since this is true. I'll give you a little bit of the detail. Jose David Diaz Marrero, age 20, Waldo Sorolla, 21, and this guy's got a cool name. His name is Matrix Andaluz, 19. Like
Matrix on the
that's a
loose.
cool name. Andaluz. Allegedly burglarized a Florida home in 2010. Oh, in 2010. This didn't come out till 2012. Took urns that contained the cremated remains of Holly Tenska's father and her two beloved Great Danes. Great Danes, that's a lot of, those are big dogs.
Yeah.
And snorted the contents thinking they were drugs, according to the Ocala.com. They also reportedly stole about $1,500 worth of jewelry, a laptop, a DVD player, and a 42-inch flat screen television. They must have had like a van or something. Geez, I always think that. I'm like, oh, I got nothing in my house for anybody to steal. I'm like, oh, I got my flat screen TV, but nobody's going to take that. That's the only thing here that looks like it's worth anything, right? That could take your couch, or your table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So were those were the remains, they must have been in their own separate urns, or was the guy like buried, like cremated with my Great Danes?
According yeah, there was more than one, because she wasn't going to put her dog in with her dad, I guess. I think she had three. Like, that had to be probably three, right? According to the report, detectives investigated the case, said the men told them they thought the urns, multiple urns, contained crushed pills and sorted the contents. So one of them, who pled guilty to 4 burglaries, he was sentenced to more than 8 years in prison. So yeah, and then he's got to live down. He was those 4 burglaries. So apparently he was like this.
Oh, there we go.
You see them? These guys look like total brainiacs right there.
The one guy's head's almost too big to fit the frame. Yeah. The other guy's sleeping.
Hey, but you know what? They went to the barber, man. They're lined up, though, aren't they? All of them.
Seriously, how would you think an urn? Why would you think a bunch of pills were crushed up in there? It's so weird.
Don't you know what an urn is? I mean, unless it was like, I guess they have different kinds, but most urns that I know look like these closed up bases kind of thing, and they're usually sealed. Yeah. So how do you even open that unless you just had it like in a kind of box type? I don't know, but it's weird.
Who has their pills just pre-crushed up like that though? Like that's, or whatever it was. That's insane.
Somebody is in a hurry when they get home from work or something crazy. Oh, anyway, those are the brainiacs we got going right there. Okay, so you want to try one?
Yes,
I do.
I will.
Okay, I'll put my listening ears on here.
Okay. So as you can tell by my voice, I'm a sweet, innocent Canadian boy. And I've been to Florida, LA, and even Las Vegas before, but there's one place in America I'm never visiting, and that's Texas. And it's not because of their loosey-goosey gun laws or anything like that. It's because Theo Riley lives there. Theo Riley, aka the Texas Butthole Tickling Bandit. Yeah, you heard that right. So let's get into it. So there was a man who was breaking into the homes of residents in Dallas and tickling their buttholes while they were asleep. And he's finally been caught after a reign of terror that lasted a little over 3 weeks. He managed to be identified by police and was arrested in the early hours of January 5th at 5 a.m. Unfortunately, at this point, he had already broken into over a dozen homes at night and tickled people's butts. His victims were all men. He would tickle them till they woke up, laugh, and say, "Gotcha," and then run away. We're going to get a couple of quotes here from men who lived in the area. Relieved Richard Hayes said, quote, "Fam, I slept on my back every day. I can finally sleep on my stomach again." While Steve Simpson added, "Any man who tickles my butthole best be taking me out here." So Theo received 1 year in jail for the assaults, along with 50 hours community service and a year's probation. This happened back in 2019, so I imagine Theo is back out roaming the streets. And like I said, I ain't taking any chances. Theo never gave a reason as to why he did it, but police theorized there there were way more than a dozen victims, as some men were too embarrassed to come forward. So he's lucky he didn't get shot over there, because there's probably plenty of guys who would shoot people for less than that. So yeah, what do you think, Esther? Fake or felony?
Oh gosh. It's such a Leroy-ism. That is hard to say, because it's so weird that it could be true, but it also is so in your wheelhouse that it's hard for me to know whether you made that up or not. It seemed like it'd be kind of hard for him to do that without, being caught immediately, right? And I mean, how are these guys sleeping? Like, do men sleep?
Yeah, I generally I sleep with my butthole up in the air. Yeah, I don't know. I wake up pretty easy, so I don't think he'd be getting me.
And I'm kind of picturing, like, little kids, they sleep with their butt kind of propped up in the air.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't
Face
think grown
down,
men
booty
sleep
up.
that way, and maybe they do. I don't know. And
I might
oh
pretend
my
I'm
God.
still asleep.
I'm gonna say fake.
You got me. But I actually kind of cheated here, because if you actually do Google Texas butthole tickling bandit, you'll find stories from various sort of illegitimate sites. I guess someone made it up, and then even a few morning radio shows kind of ran with it, just regurgitating the story, and it got some legs. This, like, in 2019. But yeah, it got confirmed by Snopes and a couple other sites that it is a fake story. And I added the name Theo Riley. I made up the punishment and the
Yeah, that's the thing that was like, there was a lot of details. I'm like, well, maybe because
I added
a
couple.
I'm just trying to figure out the logistics, and I'm like, I think that would be kind of difficult to, if it was one guy or two, but if there was a series, it might be kind of difficult for him to pull it off.
I wanted it to be true so badly, but yeah, it's a fake. Yeah, it's weird though. Like, some radio shows went along with it. I guess you get it from one source, you see a couple others, and you just keep going with it. But
yeah, that's why we have Snopes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a fake one, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys one, and this is a little bit more, crimey, because there is, we got murder in this one, but we'll see. And that's the thing. I guess I'll give you guys a little hint as you're listening to these. Is like the ones that we make up, like, he said, we have to write them, right? We have to. So, it's like, you have to kind of figure out, it could be something we wrote, it could be something that, it was actually in the news, but we're so good, you may not know, right? Okay. The title of this is Man Claims He Was Infected with Mayonnaise, and that's why he killed his wife. Okay, Leroy made me laugh. A California man was arrested in the death of his wife earlier this month. He reportedly told sheriff's detectives he beat her with a concrete block while claiming he was protecting her from a group of brutal, powerful people who had infected him with mayonnaise. So, true or false, fake or felony, Leroy?
Wow. I like how you do those quick, and then you'll give more details if it's real. If it's fake,
or not. If it's fake, you're not getting nothing else.
Yeah. Just give me more details if it's fake. I can't. I'm trying to think if I've seen this before. I've seen people make some pretty bad excuses. I'm gonna say real again.
Yes, this is true.
Wow.
This guy's crazy. Says Nathaniel Robertson, 46, has pled not guilty to a charge of first-degree murder in killing his 57-year-old wife, Lydia. Robertson was arrested after his wife was found dead with blunt force trauma injuries and blood splattered at this entrance to their home, which, kind of detailing there. But it would take the police a little to no time to ascertain that Robertson's delusions were likely due to his frequent drug use. A regular crystal meth user, Robertson would tell detectives he killed his wife to, quote, give her compassion and mercy, and that the alignments were not in place to protect her. Robertson would also say that he had something within him that was releasing information about the Revolutionary War, when asked how he had been, I don't know what that has to do with anything. When asked how he had been infected by mayonnaise, Robertson would go on to blame a group he could only refer to as vaguely as they. So he had no details about how this mayonnaise infected him. Was it because she was making him sandwiches with mayonnaise, but these people were put, he doesn't explain. I guess we can only theorize that.
Sounds like some schizophrenia or something like that mixed in.
Yeah, definitely delusion stuff. But I mean, of all things to zero in on, that would be like the thing that's like evil or infected with mayonnaise. Like, how do you eat?
It's funny because my friend Ryan that I lived with for a while, he put some mayonnaise on his sandwich one time and it was expired, right? It expired about a year earlier. And he said that it made him feel like
that's the guy that cleans out his refrigerator regularly, you can tell.
Yeah, we were living together at the time. But
and he died.
He said he felt like he was high when he ate it, right? And then I remember my other friend Ron, he was always like, right away he goes, "You got high off mayonnaise?" And just the way he said it, we used to repeat that all the time. But there could be some truth to it. I mean, if you got that feeling of...
I have to ask a question, though. You open a jar of mayonnaise, it's a year old. There's no indicators that thing has gone, has turned. Let's put it that way.
Apparently not. I don't know. Maybe he thought it had some like pesto mixed in or something. It had that green tinge to it.
I mean, the smell, something. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
You boys.
We're slobs.
Okay, your turn.
Okay. What do we got? Oh, okay. This one's an April Fool's themed crime, which is perfect for this episode. It's 2011, and we're at a Walmart in Maryland, where a 48-year-old shopper feels the call of nature. He has to take a shit. So he rushes off to use the restroom. After taking care of business, he goes to stand up, but no, he can't. There's something stopping him from getting up. This isn't good. Turns out he fell victim to a prankster who smeared super glue all over the toilet seat. A couple minutes later, an employee hears the man screaming for assistance and ends up calling 911 for the fella. Police, firefighters, and paramedics arrive on the scene shortly after. And this glue is no joke. I don't know if you're familiar with like crazy glue or super glue, but it's pretty powerful. Like I've gotten my fingers stuck together. Like
especially on skin. Especially on skin.
Big time. Mm-hmm. Especially on a delicate buttocks. But yeah, it's powerful. Anyway, they couldn't unstick the poor man there, so they had to unbolt the entire toilet seat, and they took it along with the man still attached to the hospital. He had to do the walk of shame through the Walmart with the toilet seat still attached. Doctors eventually managed to remove the seat. It took them 15 minutes, leaving the victim with minor injuries to his buttocks, but he mostly just suffered from embarrassment. Officers never tracked down the prankster, but if caught, they said he could face charges of second-degree assault. And we'll stop it right there. Is that real or fake, Esther?
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like I saw something on a movie that was something like, or a show that something like that happened. Maybe it was a sitcom. I don't know. It seems like I saw something like that, but I kind of think it's possible. So I'm going to say true.
Yes, it is true.
Yay!
Yeah. So that's crazy. Because you wouldn't be able to do up your pants or even put your underwear on if you still had like the toilet seat attached to your butt.
How embarrassing would that be? Oh my God.
And they said they couldn't disclose how they managed to unglue the guy for some reason. Mm-hmm. It was kept confidential with the hospital. But
it's a super glue company secret.
Yeah, I'd like to know personally, just in case. Maybe peanut butter, warm water, or something. I don't know what they would use.
I'm thinking, like, how long was he gonna? I think, okay, if it was just me, like, how long would I sit in there trying to do something before I called attention to myself? You know what I mean? That just sounds horrifying.
Well, say he's sitting there having, I mean, if I have to go to a bathroom in public, I'm doing it pretty quick and it's an emergency. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, if he was sitting there reading the paper, say he was there 10 minutes and then went to get
Yeah.
up, I think I could rip myself. Maybe it would hurt. Maybe he
Yeah.
felt too. It depends how hairy his butt was too, because like that hurts, right?
It's just like
There's a
getting a
few
wax.
facts.
Women don't, we have no sympathy.
Oh, that's a free waxing right there. Yeah, maybe. I bet you
Free one.
if it's a woman, she would have got off there.
Oh,
But
yeah. 2 seconds, man. You're
yeah,
gone.
this guy couldn't take it, so they had to bring in the jaws of life and everything. Can you imagine, like the firefighters, paramedics? Like, yeah, that's everyone.
He couldn't handle it. He'd never been touched there.
Yeah, it would take me a long time before I started screaming for someone's attention that I'm
Yeah,
stuck to the
exactly.
toilet seat. Oh my God. But
Yeah,
each
no, I
minute
think I
you
tried,
wait, it gets
you try
worse, right?
anything.
Unreal.
Good Lord. Yeah. Oh God, that's terrible. That's horrible. And you didn't find the person, huh? They didn't catch whoever did it.
No, it could have been an employee who I mean, if I guess if they really checked the footage, it could have only been there for you wouldn't be able to confirm who it was though. But you could narrow it down to maybe 10 people. It could have been someone that worked there, in my opinion.
Title of this: Robber holds up Burger King but gets caught when he comes back to complain about the food. A hungry robber held up a fast food restaurant in Nashville. Besides taking all the money in the registers, he ordered employees to pack up food that he took away, I should say. Minutes later, he returned to complain that the food sucked and to ask for a freshly made burger, a milkshake, and other items. The police had already been called and they arrived and arrested the robber while he waited for his order. Is that fake or felony?
Oh my God. Um, God, I've heard of so many stupid criminals. This could have definitely happened. Like, are you gonna do 3 trues in a row though? I'm gonna say false.
You're right. It was false. It was
Oh my
false.
God. I'm sure
Yeah,
that's happened though. Even
I
if
totally
you
made it up.
That's what I do for some of my cases though. Like I think of something like, oh, that'd be a cool crime. Then you look it up and it's happened, right?
It's happened. Yeah, it probably has happened, And Burger King is not a sponsor of this podcast.
No, it should be.
Oh God. Okay, your turn.
That was a good one though. You almost got me. Because I've seen ones where people have robbed a place and then given them their resume afterwards or something, like me. It's like you're an
Are you
idiot.
hiring, man? Obviously, I need money.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, we got a good one here. All right. A gentleman was enjoying a nice meal at a fancy restaurant in California. As he was finishing up, the waitress noticed he was acting strange, nervous. She found out why a couple minutes later when he bolted for the front door without paying. The woman chased him outside and shouted, "Stop that man!" There was a hulking young dude out on the street who heard her desperate shouting. This guy was huge. He grabbed the dine and dasher, picked him up about 2 feet in the air, and held him up against a brick wall. He didn't let go of the guy until police arrived. Now, I don't know if the would-be thief got arrested, but that's not the interesting part of the story. The Good Samaritan who stopped the thief was one Edmund Kemper, aka the co-ed killer. Crazy. When Kemper was asked about the incident years later from his cell on death row, the bespectacled brute said, quote, "It was nice to be on the right side of the law for a change. That was a good day." End quote. So what do you think, Esther? Real or fake? I know you're a big fan of Mr. Eddie Kemper.
Yeah, fan.
Love to throw
Gosh.
that word around
I
with
know.
serial killers.
Oh gosh. What was I thinking? He's a big guy, so I can see him being able to do that. He wanted to be a cop, so that makes sense.
Jury
Or he kind of fancied himself like a cop wannabe, I guess. I don't know if he actually wanted to be a cop, but he's like hanging around cops and shit like that. Um, uh, I'm going to say true, just because it's so weird.
Totally made it up. I mean, it could have happened, but I just made it up off the top of my head last night.
All right, you got one on me.
Yes.
There was some serial. I'm trying to remember. There was some serial killer who did turn in somebody. I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to me later. But I mean, it's not unheard of. These guys. This is the weird thing. So I have worked with felons. When I was felons in my other life, my other job. And one of the things I can tell you is that the people, the ones that are like, these even violent felons and stuff like that, or even just, people that rob shit or carjackings or whatever. And when they're incarcerated, I swear they are the most, they're the most like, they're so serious about justice. Like they just don't like hearing like somebody gets away with shit. They just don't like that. And it's like, no, if they see something like they think is, yeah, that's bullshit, whatever, they'll jump in. It's not them, of course, it's not what they're doing, but yeah, they're very, very, very law and order when it comes to other people.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome. And I'm like, I would be like, dude, do you not see any irony in that? Do you need,
I know, right? They're delusional, like they're actually good people or something.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I think
no, they
BTK, was it Dennis Rader was like that, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
There was a couple others, but yeah,
BTK used to turn in people for having their lawns too long because he was a homeowners association cop or something. He's an asshole.
Still is.
Yeah, you turn people in. Yeah, exactly. So okay. So let's get one more here. Yeah, a little bit more on the true, kind of crimes that I cover a little bit. Okay, so this one is titled "Man Reveals Decades-Old Murder After Becoming Jealous at Class Reunion." A man attending his 30-year class reunion in South Carolina discovered that his high school sweetheart was now dating his former best friend. The pair had broken up when both left to attend colleges in different states, but he had never forgotten her. He looked forward to rekindling their romance at the reunion, but was surprised when she walked in with his best friend from high school. After a few drinks and in a jealous rage, he blurted out that her date was, quote, a murderer, stating, "I know because I was there with him when we killed that guy." Shocked partygoers alerted authorities, and the two men are currently being investigated in connection with the decades-old murder of another high school boy. Is that fake or felony?
That sounds very believable. Oh man. I'm gonna say it's real.
Fake.
Ah, come on. You got me.
Totally made up. I think I saw some kind of headline a while back, something about a class reunion, and I don't even remember what it was, but I thought, oh, what? This shit happens. Like people bring in like this bad, but they go back and they see their old, nemesis from high school or something, and they get drunk and, start brawling in the parking lot when they're, 60 years old or something.
Very believable.
But I'm like, what if somebody blurted something out? There might have been a movie kind of like, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of movies, but wasn't there something about that? Like they found out what happened when they were in high school, that some girl had been killed or something like that.
Yeah, it rings a bell, but I can't put my finger on that one.
Yeah, I might have picked up on that a little bit for this, fake story, but yeah.
Imagine if, could you just do a real story and then instead of in South Carolina, it happened in North Carolina? So you're like, gotcha. But you just like switch where it happened.
Yeah.
That's cheating, I guess.
Yeah, totally cheating. Yeah. Okay. Your turn.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this one is a lover's quarrel, and it happened over in Mexico. Police were called to a domestic dispute at the home of Leonora and her husband Juan. Leonora became extremely upset with Juan when she found explicit photos of him and another woman getting it on his phone. She was so upset that she grabbed a knife from the kitchen and started slashing at her confused hubby. When police arrived on the scene, Juan had to be treated for multiple stab wounds on his arms and legs. Now I know what you're thinking. That's kind of a downer. Not really that interesting, though. And Leonora had every right to be upset at Juan. Well, no, not really. Because if she had have given him a moment to explain himself, Juan would have told Leonora that hussy in those photos was actually her. They were photos taken years ago, back when they first started dating. Leonora apparently did not recognize herself because she was much younger, thinner, and had makeup on. Juan, who thankfully made a full recovery, told investigators that he had recently found the photos in an old email and transferred them to his phone. Leonora was arrested and remains behind bars pending charges. So, what do you think, Esther? Fake or felony?
Dang. I heard this story, but I don't remember if I heard it and it was fake or if it was true. See, because I know that you are looking for some that were fake too. I know I heard something about, I saw I had something, or I dreamt it. Maybe I dreamt it. God, that's sad if it's true, but I'll say it's true.
Yeah, it's true. Could you imagine? What are you doing with that hot young lady? And yeah, it really happened in I don't know how to pronounce this place. Cajeme, Cajeme, Sonora, back in January of 2021. Yeah, I didn't want to say that place in the or else you might have thought that, I don't know, I thought it might have thrown me off. So
Yeah.
that's where it happened in 2021. Some wild stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah, that is so sad. How embarrassing too.
I know.
You don't even recognize yourself. That's how much you let yourself go. Okay.
Yeah. And what a good guy, eh? Like he literally has pictures of him and his wife, of all people, right? Like on his phone.
Yeah.
Who knows what he's doing with those photos, right? But
But the other thing she could have been upset about is like, oh, is that what you wish I still look like?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Go
Either way,
asshole.
that's a red flag. I mean, I don't know if they stayed together after that, but yeah, that's a rough one. She's a fiery woman.
Oh man,
Very
yeah,
passionate.
she was a jealous woman. Okay, so let's stay on the sexy theme. I got a little sexy story here. Well, not really. It's kind of gross, but it's got a little sexy bent to it, I guess. Oh God, I can't even read this headline. I couldn't. Yeah, no. Okay, I'm not going to say because I'll give it away. 6-pack torso discovered. A torso missing its head and lower extremities was found floating near the shore of Lake Michigan. It was discovered unclothed. Well, make that, yeah, obviously. Without fingerprints or other identifying features, police have had to rely on the public for help. The only thing they had to go on was that the dismembered torso was, quote, in very good shape and sporting 6-pack abs. Quote, such a shame, one local woman said to reporters when asked to comment. There are so many out of shape, unhealthy people still walking around. It's too bad that someone who kept in shape like that is gone, end quote. A female officer for the Traverse City Police Department said the discovery of the torso was, quote, sad but sexy. That true or false?
That sounds true to me. I'm gonna go with true.
It's false.
Oh,
and I didn't write it. I didn't write it, but oh my God. Okay, so this, oh my God, I was dying. This was from clickhole.com. So, oh my God. And they write it just like it's a real story, right? So I just took a part of it. It says earlier this morning, police department discovered a recently dismembered torso of a male currently identified as John Doe, though we have to assume it was probably something more like Chad or Antonio, given the chiseled abs that were instantly visible as soon as the chiseled torso was pulled out of the lake's murky depths. This goes on. It says, a member of the team first noticed the toned, glistening abdomen floating near the easternmost side of the lake. And identified it as the body of an absolutely yoked human male, sending a wave of horror, sending a wave of horror, shock, arousal, and insatiable sexual desire through the crowd of police and onlookers present.
Okay. Now that you read that, I should have known it was fake. Not very professional, really, right? Find a
Sad, sad.
dead torso and you're like, oh, he was absolutely yoked.
Oh my God, I couldn't stop laughing when I saw that. I was like, oh man, people are too much. Okay, so yeah, that was fake.
Oh, that was
Uh,
great.
I had to do that one.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
weird. There's a place in BC where like a lot of feet wash up on shore.
Jeez.
I don't remember the reason why, but yeah, I guess people who drown and stuff, for some reason, their feet have been washing up on shore. It happened a bunch of times, and
Oh
they thought it might
wow.
have been a killer or something, but I don't remember the reason why, but apparently it's true.
That's
Don't quote
odd.
me on any of that, but yeah, a
Those foot
torso.
calluses are pretty those foot calluses are, they're pretty strong. They withstand the elements.
I thought you might lose your six pack after death, right? Like you're not flexing, obviously.
Oh God. Okay, your
Okay,
turn.
I actually only have one more here. I apologize, but we're back at Walmart again, people. And this is where Timothy Blake, 28, was charged with pandering obscenity, sexual imposition, and 2 counts of menace by stalking. After 2 female customers complained of a man following them around the superstore and squirting them with a sticky substance that he had in a syringe. Timothy claimed the white substance in question was egg yolks mixed with flour, a concoction he said he learned to make on the internet, but he later admitted it was his own semen. And after an officer told him they had run, this was after an officer told him they had run tests on the substance. Timothy admitted he masturbated in his vehicle and in the Walmart bathroom. Maybe that's what the guy's butt was stuck to on the toilet seat. So he masturbated in the bathroom to obtain the semen samples, as well as committing the heinous act around a dozen times over 2 months. He used semen on 4 of those occasions and either the egg mixture or spit on others. He also confessed to aiming specifically for his victim's buttocks, saying it was his way of having sex with the women. Ugh.
Oh God.
He also said he got the idea from reading about it online. This guy should stay off the internet. We're gonna stop it right there. So fake or felony?
Oh God. I don't think please please tell me you did not make that up. I'm gonna like keep my fingers crossed that that's fake. Because otherwise
Wait.
I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
Wait, so you're thinking it's fake or real?
I'm hoping it's fake. No, I'm hoping it's real. Sorry.
Yeah, you're hoping it's real, right? Yeah.
I'm hoping it's real. Sorry. Oh God. Yeah, I'm hoping it's real. Because otherwise you have a really sick mind.
Yeah, this is real. Sadly, it happened in
God.
Marietta, Ohio back in 2017. Timothy actually got away after the 2 women filed complaints in one day. After viewing surveillance footage, police saw him get into his work vehicle, and Timothy was pulled over and arrested a couple days later. When officers spotted him, he was with his wife. They were on their way out to dinner. Awkward. So, well, what's the wife think about that?
God. Oh man.
I mean,
like,
unfortunate.
Hey,
Unfortunate for the women, but like, could you imagine it in this guy's mind? It's like, well, I'm not cheating, but if he sees some women he finds attractive, and he's like, well, if I just squirt them with my semen, like it's almost like we kind of did it, right? It's
oh my God.
so bad.
Yeah. So yeah, try to justify that, buddy. Yeah, we're all gonna buy that one. Oh my God. He saw it on the internet. Like what? Where?
He's on the dark web, clearly.
He saw something. Oh my gosh, that is insane. People are too much. I don't even know where you would come up with something like this.
That's Walmart in America. I feel like Walmart's worse than the Canadian Walmart.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I go to Walmart quite a bit, and I don't really see the crazy stuff. Although when I went to Florida, I didn't see anything crazy happen at the Walmart there either. I guess you got to be there at the right time.
From what I hear, it depends on the neighborhood or the area.
Yeah,
You know, it's a regional thing, apparently. I don't know.
that makes sense.
Somebody should do that. Somebody should like just go stake out. Well, you could do a podcast on that, right? Like just stake out Walmarts and the things you see, or maybe you talk to people who look kind of bizarre or
Oh yeah,
interesting.
coming at you straight out of the Walmart parking lot. That would be interesting, just sort of interviewing just random people that just look strange that you think would be a good interview.
Yeah,
Also
like,
dangerous, but
yeah. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I have two short ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a hint, and I'm going to tell you that one of these is true and one of these is false, and you have to figure out which is which. Okay. Okay, here's the first one. Right? Yeah. Okay. First one. Two women dressed as nuns. Oh, hold on. Here it is. Yeah. This one's called Bad Habits. Two women dressed as nuns robbed at least 3 financial institutions in New Jersey before police discovered the crime spree. The women, dressed in full nun garb, looted banks in different cities and counties, delaying police from recognizing they were dealing with serial bank robbers. Okay, that's number one. Number two, 8-year-old boy calls 911 to tearfully report that he is a criminal. A third grader in Spokane, Washington, began watching a DVD of the Disney movie Encanto while his parents were in another part of the house. Remember, this is a DVD, right? When the anti-piracy warning played at the film's beginning, he became distraught, believing he was committing a crime by watching it. He dialed 911, and after the operator got the boy to calm down enough to understand him, she assured him that the cops would not be arriving at his home to arrest him. The boy's parents told reporters they'll only allow him to watch movies over streaming services from now on, not so as not to re-traumatize their child. Oh, so one is true and one is false. Which is which?
Oh my God. The 8-year-old, that's ridiculous, but I bet you that's true. I think that one's true.
And the other one you think is false. The nuns robbing banks.
I want to believe that one. That one's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess I think that one's false.
The boy's true and the girl, no, nuns are right. Okay.
Oh, so you made up the nun one?
No, the women's dressed as nuns robbing banks. That's true.
Oh, it is true. Okay.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, 2 women dressed as nuns robbed the Citizens Bank on August 28th in Pocono Township, Monroe County. Law enforcement sources told NewJersey.com they believe the pair are the same 2 women charged with robbing banks in Garfield, New Jersey on September 27th and Teaneck, New Jersey on October 15th. It gives their names, it's hard to read. Suahilis Pedraza Rodriguez of New Haven, Melissa Aquino Arias of the Dominican Republic, have charges pending in federal court for the New Jersey robberies, but haven't been charged for the Pennsylvania one. One of the ladies allegedly wore a hijab Muslim headscarf for the Garfield crime, while the other one had no head covering. And then another one wore a blue hijab at the Teaneck crime, while the other wore a black cover. But there's a picture where they're wearing the full thing. I'll show you real quick. I'm like, that was crazy. Oops. That was nuts.
The full nun outfit?
Yeah, the full nun outfit. And you can see this is from the bank surveillance camera.
Which I appreciate that pun though, right? Because that's what they wear. It's called a habit, I think. Because I just remember Sister Act 2 back in the habit with Whoopi Goldberg there, right?
It's trying to come up right now. It's taking its time, but it'll be up in a second. So, but while I'm doing that, let me pull up that. So the one with the boy, it was from Clickhole as well. And it's funny the way they wrote it though. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. But anyway, it says the title of this article on Clickhole is "Good Luck in the Can, Kid." This 8-year-old boy is scared shitless that he's going to be arrested after seeing an anti-piracy warning appear before watching Coco on DVD. Yeah, he says, and then they put all these things and it says, yeah, he said the FBI said the criminal copyright infringement was punishable by fines. And, it has that thing at the beginning.
Yeah, like a
It says,
$250,000 fine or something crazy.
yes. Although Jacob panicked and tried to skip ahead on the remote, a big X appeared over the screen instead, which scared him even more and made him start to cry. He kept nervously glancing to see if SWAT team was about to bust in and carry him away, and rightfully so. Um, he's simply now too simply terrified to bother watching the movie, and he's now in his room where he's frantically emptying out his piggy bank and Velcro wallet, trying to come up with enough money to cover the fines for illegally watching Coco so he can minimize his jail time. Tragically, though, he has only $11.75 because he spent most of his birthday money on Fortnite skins 3 months ago. So now he has to say goodbye to most of his stuffed animals because he assumes he can only take his favorite with him to prison.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was believable. And they say kids
Yeah.
are pretty soft these days. It depends, obviously, on the parents and stuff.
Yeah. You've probably seen this one. The title is Obvious Florida Man Charged with Repeatedly Calling 911 for a Ride Home. A Florida man who proudly identifies as a citizen of the Sunshine State, evidenced by a tattoo outline of Florida on his forehead, was arrested for misuse of the 911 system when he repeatedly called to try to find a ride home. Yeah, this picture was friggin'
I've
ridiculous.
seen the mugshot of the guy with the Florida tattoo, but I didn't know that was the story that went along with it, I think.
Yeah, that's the story. So that was pretty fun. That was pretty good. So I think you got me a couple of times. I got you a couple of times.
Yeah.
But we got to say we know our stuff, right? A little bit, right? I hope.
Yeah, you could also make the argument we're good at making stuff up too, right? If we trick each other. So either way, we did fantastic. Yeah. Let us know how you did. Comment down below. What is this? A YouTube clip? I don't know. I don't know where you would comment.
Yeah,
it's
you
fine.
can comment on wherever you
email us. We'll be happy.
Send us a letter.
Yeah, snail mail.
Yeah, you could do it. If you're on the website, you're watching this on the website, you can comment below there, YouTube. You can join us on our Facebook page, all that good stuff. You got a Facebook page too, right, Leroy?
Yeah. I'm under Leroy Luna. I also have a private Facebook group, 2,700 people in there. I'm not bragging, but it's quite a few.
Yeah. Cool.
The social media. I'm not great with social media. It's hard.
You got a lot of people on there though,
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Even when I started this, I had to get my wife to get me an email address. I didn't even know how to I didn't have an email address, and I didn't even know how to open one up or whatever. That's how terrible I am. Yeah.
Oh my God.
With technology.
Oh man.
No email.
Okay, so anyway, so you guys, I hope you enjoyed this. We had fun with it. So we will be back in 2 weeks. So we've got the Easter holiday coming up on the next. Some people have that off on that Monday or whatever. So anyway, so I will not be releasing an episode on April 10th. So we'll be back on the 17th, and you will get 2 more episodes of Fool Me Once. So next time is going to be really fun. We do something a little bit different. We are going to have some really crazy stories. And we are going to try and play a little game. So a couple of crazy stories, a little short game that we're going to play that I think you guys will like, that I haven't been able to do before. I've been wanting to do for a long time. I think it's going to be really fun. So anything else, Leroy, before we go?
Nope.
Where they can find your podcasts, the names, so in case they forget everything.
Excuse me, that's illegal. It can be found wherever you consume your favorite on-demand audio. I think. I don't know. I've heard someone say that once. Just subscribe, please. I need 5,000 more people, and then I can go part-time at my job. I'm a lazy guy. This is my passion, kind of. I know I'm not the greatest at it, but throw a guy a subscription.
Yeah, he's humble. I mean, he's got you guys will like it. And again, it's one of those things. Well, you guys know me. I don't just shout out anybody. And Leroy's, it is a really good show. It's totally different from probably anything you've ever heard. He consistently publishes, which I know you guys like. It's quality is really good, and I really enjoy it. And I hope you guys will too. So that's it. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Esther. Your check's in the mail for that.
Yeah, just Venmo me, man. So yeah, we'll see you next time, Leroy, and it's been really fun. And I'll talk to you soon. And that will do it for this episode of Once Upon a Crime. That was really fun, and I cannot wait for the next one. You know I love music, rock music, metal music, and next time we're going to be discussing crime stories and playing a Fool Me Once game focused on rock and metal bands. You won't want to miss the fun. We're off next Monday for the Easter weekend holiday, so the next episode will drop on April 17th. But if you're a Patreon subscriber, you get all the episodes earlier than everyone else and ad-free. To find out more and become a Patreon member, go to patreon.com/onceuponacrime. Once Upon a Crime is written and produced by me, Esther Sanchez Ludlow. Special thanks once again to my guest host, Leroy Luna. Make sure to check out his podcast and subscribe. Just look for Excuse Me, That's Illegal in your favorite podcast app. Until next time, be good to one another.